Hi everybody, welcome back to Mediocre Whiskey Review. I'm Jill. I'm going to give you a very mediocre whiskey review today. Alright, so today I'm doing a comparison. I don't know if it's a good one, I don't know if it's a bad one, it doesn't matter. It's what I wanted to do, so I'm kind of excited about it. I have both of these bottles and I've had them for a while, but I've never drank them side by side. They're from the same distillery. So one of them is a Blanton's, regular single barrel, not one of the, cool fancy ones or whatever. So I picked this one up last year, earlier this year, I don't know. I happened to be at a store when they were putting it out. And I didn't have one, like, I don't particularly want it. I wasn't hunting it, but they put it out. I was there. It was a decent price, so, well, I got it. And I think I paid $65 for it, which I know is a little over MSRP, but considering the only other time I've seen it, they wanted $350 for it, somewhere in there. So I'll take that deal. The other one we're gonna do is an Eagle Rare, just the regular 10-year Eagle Rare. These are actually, where I live, these are, they're not super common, but they're not as hard to come by as they are in a lot of places. So I happened to think, what can I do? And I was like, oh, they're both Buffalo Trace. Let's try it out. So the Eagle Rare is 90 proof. The Blanton's is 93. So we know the Eagle Rare is 10-year. The Blanton's I looked up because it's non-age stated. And again, as I've said in previous videos, I'm not a nerd. I don't remember all this stuff. So I looked it up, and no age statement, but it is thought to be anywhere from like 6 to 8 years, 7 to 9 I saw somewhere. So aside from that, the Eagle Rare, is the Buffalo Trace mash bill number 1, which is thought to be a low rye mash bill, and the Blanton's is mash bill number 2, which is thought to be the higher rye, which I think they rumored to be 12 to 18% rye. So obviously with the Blanton's having a higher rye mash bill, it's going to be a little different. But I've only ever had one pour out of this. And that was, when I bought it. So that's been like a year ago. So I have no idea what it tastes like. I don't remember. I do have them both poured. There are labels in the bottom that I'm not going to show you because I don't want to spill it. I mixed them up. They've been sitting for a little while. So I have no idea which is which, and that's the idea. So I'm just going to dive in and start sniffing. And it's not a matter of can I tell which one's Blanton's and which one's Eagle Rare. It's just a matter of which one do I like best is the only reason I'm doing it. And again, as I've said before, not a huge fan of the higher rye things. So if the Blanton's is a higher rye, I probably won't like it as well, but I don't really know. So let's find out. Nose on that is really light. I'm gonna like there's some fruit in there a little bit, but it's pretty light on the nose. Let's try the next one. They're both pretty similar, which I kind of expected. This one does have a bit sweeter nose than this one, but I'm getting the typical bourbon notes. There's caramel, vanilla, and like that's what you would expect to get out of it, right? They're both so light on the nose. But I do like this one. Seems to be a little more oily than this one. I think they both have, I'm trying so hard not to spill it. They both have a very beautiful color to them. I can't really, I'm not really getting any other notes other than the caramel vanilla. Just kind of a, I don't know, kind of a generic sweet smell, right? So let's just try it out. Again, it's got a real decent mouthfeel at first, and it kind of dissipates pretty quick. It turns watery and is gone. Let's try the second one. That one I got a little more on the palate. It's hanging around quite a bit longer than this one was. I can get like the vanilla, and there was something else. I can't put my finger on what that is. It's sweet. It's pleasant. It's not anything that like I don't like. I like it, but I can't put my finger on what it is. So I do get a little bit of spice on each one. This one lingers. The finish on this one far exceeds this one. That ultimately means nothing, you know, that's neither here nor there. This one is super easy sipping. Like I could sit and sip on this for quite some time. It's very pleasant. Again, I'm not picking out a whole lot of different flavors. I'm getting the caramel, the vanilla, a little bit of spice, but nothing that just jumps out and is like, hey, I'm here. No, none of that in this one. We're gonna go in this one again. This one's definitely much sweeter. It's got a thicker mouth feel, like a slightly thicker. There's not a huge difference. They taste very similar, which I'm a little surprised about, I guess, because they're different mash bills. But this one just has, it's got, words are so hard sometimes when you're an adult. It has some notes in there that I'm really enjoying. It's almost like a chocolate toffee, and I don't know if anybody else would ever get that or if anybody else ever has. I have never watched a review about Blanton's or Eagle Rare. I feel like, don't come at me, don't give me hate. I feel like these two bourbons are so hyped up and they're so just over talked about, which is kind of why I wanted to do it. But every time I scroll through Facebook or I do whatever, everybody's like, oh, I found a Blanton, I found an Eagle Rare, I found this, I found that. And like Buffalo Trace is hyped up as this super great distillery, and they are great. I've been there, I visited, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Um, I and I think that's actually where I got the Eagle Rare from. But as far as these two go, like, they're okay. They're good. They're really good, and they're, good for sipping and good for drinking. Now, I don't do mixed drinks, so maybe they're really good in mixed drinks. I don't know. Um, so, do I think they're the greatest thing in the world and worth chasing? Absolutely not. But I also don't think, for me personally, I'm not going to go and chase any bourbon or whiskey. It's just not my thing. And like, if I happen upon one like I did the Blantons, I'll probably pick it up, because they are hard to find. They're allocated, and we all know that allocated bottles are just ridiculous to come by. And I don't do secondaries. Like, I don't buy stuff from people who have jacked the price up 4 and 5 times what it's worth. But to those that do, I mean, to each their own. Doesn't bother me one bit. But I can honestly say that I don't get the hype with these two. Now, I do have another Eagle Rare that is a store pick, and I have yet to do those side by side, so I don't know how big of a difference there really is between the store pick and the regular Eagle Rare. So that'll be for another day. I also do have a E.H. Taylor, and that one I kind of hunted for that one, and as stupid as it sounds, I wanted it because I wanted the tube. I want the E.H. Taylor tube, and I got one. Store that I was going to for quite some time. Me and a gentleman that works there, we talked so much every time I would go in, and he asked me one day what I was looking for, and I said, if I could ever find one, I'd love to have an E.H. Taylor. And I left, I bought something, I don't know, and I went outside, and he followed me out, and he said, hey, come back next week, I have some coming in. So, okay. Now, the really cool part about that was that because of my schedule, I didn't get back the next week. It was almost 2 weeks later before I got back in, and I knew in my head that he wasn't going to have it, he wasn't going to keep it. And as soon as I walked in, he lit up, he went to the back, and he brought it out in a brown paper bag, and I thanked him profusely. He rang it up. I didn't even pay attention to the price. I took it, I went out to the car, and I pulled it out of the bag, and I was so excited. And I looked at the price, I looked at the receipt first, and it was like $85 or something. And I'm like, this dude just ripped me off. No, he did not. He gave me a single barrel E.H. Taylor. So I was expecting a small batch. This story took way too long to tell. Sorry about that. But I was expecting to get a small batch, and I ended up getting the single barrel. So I think it would be super cool to do the E.H. Taylor single barrel with maybe my Eagle Rare store pick, or something. I really like doing the comparisons because it tells me what I do and don't like, or what I prefer. I can't say I don't like. I don't know if I've ever had a whiskey that I just absolutely don't like and could never drink again. So, I mean, it's not about, oh, I don't like that, I'm not going to drink it. I'm still going to drink it. And then it also, too, matters to me what you're drinking it with. If I had just the Blantons or just the Eagle Rare by itself, I would probably think it is super delicious. And now that I'm comparing them, I like one more than the other. It's just the way the world works, I suppose. So, I'm not going to rate because that's not what this was about. But I am going to tell you which one I like better. And it has got to be this one. We'll call this glass B. I don't know. I like the mouthfeel of this one. I like the flavors that I'm getting. And the more that I sip on it, it's like the sweeter it gets. I can get the caramel and the chocolate and the toffee and all these different flavors. And this one I'm still just getting just kind of like a watery vanilla, I guess, like a watery caramel. It just feels very light, which, you know, again, is fine. It would be a really good sipper if you're just kind of hanging out and doing whatever. But so I'm gonna go with this one as, out of these two, my favorite. So let's see what they are. If I could do it without spilling my glass. All right, so this one, I know you can't see that. Oh, I am surprised. I am absolutely surprised. This one is the Eagle Rare. I really thought that it was the other way. I thought this was the Blantons because I get a little bit more spice on this one than I did the other one. So, what do you know? Again, it's very good. It is very light. I don't get a lot going on with it. I don't know what that was, but I'm not picking much out of it. It's good, but meh, you know, I can do with it or without it. So with that being said, apparently Blanton's wins today. And I think that I had a pour of Blanton's before. A friend of mine had one. And I was not impressed with it when I had it then. And I understand they're all single barrels, so therefore different. So I think it would be super cool to do a comparison with mine and his. I think that would be just kind of a fun thing to do, to see which one we like best, right? So anyway, that's where I'm going to leave this at. I picked the Blantons today over the Eagle Rare, and I really, again, this is so stupid. I bought this for the bottle. I don't collect the toppers. None of that matters to me. I thought the bottle was super cool. That's one of the reasons I picked it up, and it was a good price. And I've done that with lots of things. By the way, let's get them both in so you can see them both. But anyway, I bought my IW Harbor 15 because of the bottle, because it was super cool. So, you know, I'm kind of a whack job like that. I don't know. But thanks for joining me for this little comparison, and I'm truly shocked at the way it turned out, but that's how it goes. So until next time, hit the like and subscribe, and share, and, you know, tell all your friends that I give the most mediocre reviews ever. Until next time, guys, cheers.